Hello my friends and welcome, my name is Dennis and this is the latest update from Ukraine. We have awesome news coming from the front lines for Ukraine and Ukrainian army. We are speaking about the counterattack, obviously, which is happening in Lyman, and not only so, actually Russians tried to stop Ukrainian army near to this water reservoir in Oskil. But as you can see from this military map, we got Kupiansk under our control and we broke through this city directly to the Russian controlled territory, and now we're offensive from this side as well. And in nearby future, I think that we're gonna take the major hub for the Russian supplies, which is in Svatove. We're gonna talk about it a little bit later. Today we have new updates and I want to show you the timeline just straight away. So it was yesterday and today, just look at this massive movement of Ukrainian forces, and we move not only here in this part on the north from Lyman, we also move towards the Lysychansk. It's here, and also Severodonetsk. As you can see, we were able to capture more territories, villages, and fighting is ongoing very close to Lysychansk. As you can see from this place, 6 kilometers, my friends, it's nothing. And if you compare this situation with Bakhmut, for example, yeah, let's go. We are moving all across the front line. The Bakhmut is kind of difficult city for Ukrainians since Russia is attacking here. And here you can see that in the city itself, suburbs help to withstand Russian attacks because it's very difficult to fight in urban environment. Here near to Lysychansk, on other hand, we have just some of the fields, very small village, and Lysychansk city itself. So I do expect that we're gonna take this city very soon. And awesome news obviously about Lyman. We are not attacking this city, my friends. We canceled our straight attack because Russians were able to build defense lines over here. We don't want to lose our forces. So Russia has the group of around 3,000 soldiers, so 3K soldiers. Sorry, I'm very bad at drawing. And Ukraine has similar number of the forces in this area. And that's why we cannot win this straight attack here on Lyman. That is why we are bypassing them, Russians, from Rydkadub, where they don't have a huge defense lines. And here we have just some of the fields, a couple of the villages. Really no urban environment, just straight vast land, and we're gonna push them forward to the south. And also we broke from the Yampil to the Yampil. It could be difficult for Ukrainian army to take this town under our control since there are lots of natural obstacles, as you can see, some of the lakes and rivers. But if we would take Yampil and break from this part from the south and take Torske, my friends, we're gonna cut all of the supplies for Russians. Mainly Russians supplied Lyman from this part, from Izum, and now they cannot supply properly that city. They try to get supplies from Torske, Zarichne, but it's very hard for them to do it because their supply hub in Izum was more convenient for the railroad supplies. It was behind the front lines, far away, but now it's taken by Ukrainian forces and they are struggling in this area. So as for the army we have there, let me show you. So here we have a Kuban regiment, and we also have a separate Kazakh motorized rifle regiment. And also they have regular Russian army there, to be more precise, 20th Russian Army Brigade, and that may have around 3,000 soldiers in that area. So for us, the main task in this area, my friends, as I told you many times, is to cut Russia, to encircle them in Lyman. That is why Yampil is very important. So if we go from this side to Zarichne and from this side and cut this road for Russians, my friends, they will be doomed. 3,000 Russian soldiers will be encircled and imprisoned in future by the Ukrainian army. The only way for Russians to save their lives is to take this secondary road over here and just run away. If they would not receive the order from Russian military command and even from a Russian president, I think he monitors this situation here. So in that case, they may lose their lives and will be imprisoned as well. I honestly believe that it may happen like that, and it could be the greatest success for Ukraine in this war, even the bigger one compared to the recent counterattack, because mainly Russians were able to run away from this Kharkiv region. They left everything like tanks, armored vehicles. They were running for their lives. But basically, for Russia, the most important resource are soldiers. Well, Russian command really doesn't care about their people. They throw them on attacks in Bakhmut and other areas, but they saved their army, at least. Here we see that their army could be encircled by our army, and that may lead to the biggest Russian army disaster in this war. As for Ukrainian army, the land here is not as important as to capture Russian soldiers and destroy the Russian army. So we are doing it right now over there. But obviously it is a war. Our enemy is still very strong and we don't know the true outcome of this situation. Obviously I support Ukraine because it's my country. I'm Ukrainian myself. And I would like Ukraine to win, but the reality could be different. Now we're speaking about this particular situation. I'm sure that Ukraine gonna win this war, but this operation, we're gonna win it anyways. About whether we can encircle Russian forces here or not, so far there is the way out for Russians to just run away. That is why I'm not sure about this particular place. Or maybe Russians may call for reinforcements into this territory, mobilize soldiers, who knows, and they may put this situation in a standstill, as we see on the south of the front lines, where there is no big change for many days or even weeks. The fighting is ongoing. We continue to use HIMARS rocket artillery systems, but still, even with supply cuts, Russia continued to withstand Ukrainian attacks. Obviously, because they were able to put around 25,000 soldiers to this territory, and it's very hard to cause them to run away from this area, because how would they do it? The Dnieper River is already very cold, so they cannot swim, and all of the bridges were destroyed by Ukrainian artillery. So just wait, and during the winter time, obviously we're gonna take this part. I hope till the 2023. And yes, I forgot to show you the timeline here near to the Kupiansk. Just want to show you the same scenario. So 2 days ago, no, that's 2 days ago, and it is now. So it's not the Russian assault here, it's just the frontline correction. And now we're pushing here a little bit to the south. Probably we're gonna get access to this road, which is leading to Svatove, very important part. But I think Troitsky is more important compared to Svatove, because here we have the railroad that goes all across the unrecognized Lugansk People's Republic to Lugansk city, and that is why Russia uses this rail to supply Lugansk and Donetsk republics. And if we take Troitsk, basically we're gonna cut this road from the Russian near to the Russian territory. Also today we got the information from one of the resources that with mobilized resources Russia may try to get Kharkiv under their control. Well, they may do it even with some little success, but they will not take the Kharkiv city itself. It's for sure, my friends. We have lots of our forces there, and they couldn't take it even in February, so they're unable to take it today for sure. And also we have the city of Odessa that Russians tried to reach in the beginning of this war as well, and they may try to do it with their mobilized soldiers. I don't think it's gonna happen like that. Well, they didn't forward their forces in Transnistria Republic, and here they moved to Voznesensk. Why they moved to Voznesensk? Because it's absolutely impossible for them to take Mykolaiv city, to go all across this bridge on the way to Odessa. And here also we have natural obstacles, so for Russian army it's impossible to reach Odessa from this side, and that is why they were going to Voznesensk, and from Voznesensk it's more or less realistic road to Odessa. Also, they may try to go from the sea, but now with flagship Moskva destroyed, they cannot do it, my friend. So Kharkiv and Odessa might be their dreams, but it will never happen with the resources that they have and with the feedback we have from our Western allies with weapons. And today we got the news that United States will give Ukraine 18 more HIMARS rocket artillery systems. That's also move from United States of America because yes, Russia I think will recognize very soon those unrecognized republic. They're gonna put them to the Russian territory, but no one would recognize that from other countries. And that's why obviously we need more weapons, because Russia will send more meat to the front line. And now let's go to some of the news and events. Before we go to it, make sure that you're watching me from my original channel, which is Denis Davidov, because there are lots of scammers who are taking my videos. Information from Turkish media: Putin may announce the end of the special operation in Ukraine and will protect only the Russian territory. Obviously, they recognized Zaporizhia, Kherson, Donetsk, and Lugansk as the Russian territories. Alright, those are the HIMARS that will go to Ukraine. So 18 HIMARS, 150 armored vehicles, Humvees, I think, 150 tactical towing cars for the artillery systems, 40 lorries or tracks, 2 radars for the unmanned air vehicles, 20 multifunctional radar systems, and lots of anti-drone equipment. Now we have the threat from the Iranian drones that Russia started to use mostly on the south part of Ukraine, also in Odessa, and we obviously need some anti-drone systems. What kind of those? So far it's the secret. I think United States will provide Ukraine with brand new systems because they want to test them in real war scenario. And I just received the information that the fighting is ongoing near Torske, which is the supply line for Russian army in Lyman. So if we're gonna take the city, there would be no supplies for Russian army over here, and basically there will be cut from the Russian controlled territory and encircled by Ukrainian army. I'm honestly waiting for that result, because it's gonna be one more nail into the lid of the coffin of the Russian government and Putin himself. There are still some talks between Ukraine and Russia, mostly about the war prisoners. So now they're talking about the major exchange of all prisoners. So all Ukrainians and all Russians could be exchanged in nearby future. It's great that we at least talk about it. We got the information from the Times, and they have the source in British defense that the Nord Stream gas pipe was probably hit by the Russian submarine or Navy frogman. Russian Navy frogman descent. I'm not good in English. Frogman. That's how you call those scuba suits, probably. So they say that it was explosion. And also I was really surprised because German specialists say that if in nearby future those pipelines would not be welded and the leak wouldn't be stopped, the salty water may go inside the tube itself and cause the internal corrosion, and after that those pipelines may not be usable ever. Ex-United States Commander Ben Hodges said that Ukraine army might go to Crimea till the middle of 2023. Very interesting. And I see the rhetorics of Ben Hodges. Obviously, he is not official military representative from the United States side, but at least he was one of the main chief commanders, and I think he knows the situation very precisely from inside. Also, I think he got some of the sources from United States intelligence, and obviously he got the information about the possible prospects of this war. It would be the great scenario for Ukraine to go to Crimea by 2023, and I hope that my hometown Sevastopol, or you may call it Sevastopol, which is here in Crimea, will be liberated from Russian occupiers. I also think that probably Ben Hodges got some kind of the task speaking that positive about this situation in Ukraine and the possible positive perspectives. We got awesome support from the Western allies who give Ukraine lots of the tanks, armored vehicles and artillery systems. But do you know who is the leader? The leader actually is Russia. Here we got some of the graphics, tanks deliveries, armored vehicles deliveries, artillery systems, and Russia is a leader because basically we got their tanks during our counterattacks. So as you can see, 387 tanks were trophied by the Ukrainian army, and armored vehicles, artillery systems. It's the huge amount. Obviously, the quality of those is much less compared, for example, to United States M777 artillery system or M113, but still we got lots of stuff from the Russian army. So Russian army, thank you for sponsoring Ukrainian army. Well, we get security alert for United States citizens issued by the embassy in Moscow. United States asked their citizens to leave Russia because Russia may not recognize the United States citizenship if they also have like Russian passport or something. So they may close the borders for the Russian men to leave the country. That is why Poland, Bulgaria, Estonia, and the United States all have a similar directive saying to their citizens to leave Russia as soon as possible with all transportation possible. United States increased surveillance on Russian nukes after Putin's nuke threats. So now they're monitoring all of the nuclear warheads that are located in Russia. And for sure, United States has awesome intelligence services as well as UK. So they will work together to provide the information for the leaders of United States, UK and Western allies. And I'm sure that they will provide Ukraine with the information if Russia would start to move their warheads around. We got the statistics of the Russian army losses. It's not very precise, but we know that it's more than 50,000 soldiers. As for Ukrainian side calculations, Russia lost 57,000 soldiers. So for you just to imagine that number physically, the average height of the Russian man is 176 centimeters. It means that if you put all of those bodies, 57,000 bodies, on top of each other, they would reach the space. Basically, the number would be 100 kilometers. It's the space border. Crazy number. Awesome news from Lithuania. They will give Ukraine military winter equipment for 2 million euros. It's quite a lot and it's great because winter is coming soon. My friends, I'm gonna keep you updated on situation here in Ukraine, especially about Lyman and Ukrainian counterattack. I hope we're gonna see many more awesome changes very soon. And now if you want to support this channel, just press the like button because it helps me a lot. Also, if you want to support this channel financially, there are some of the links under this video. As usual, you may support me on PayPal, Patreon and Donatella, whichever is convenient for you. And I wish you a peaceful sky wherever you are. Have a great time.